Story 1, Retirement. If I wake up at 2 a.m. now, it's no big deal. I just stay up for a bit and then go back to sleep when I get tired and sleep in. Story 2. Instead of thinking, I have to go to sleep, I started thinking, I get to go to sleep. Story 3. I am undergoing surgery on my nasal turbinates. I recently discovered how important proper breathing is and that it can even change the shape of your face. After the surgery, my sleep quality improved significantly. Story 4. Moving my husband to his own bedroom has improved our sleep. This is not a problem to be solved. It is simply our preference. We worked opposite shifts for years. Until we separated our sleeping arrangements, we were both sleep-deprived and miserable. Once we had the opportunity to share a bed again, neither of us wanted to, and we have the emotional maturity to not take that as rejection. We just sleep better separately, so why not continue? Story 5, CPAP machine. I never realized that I wasn't sleeping well until I experienced good sleep. Create a dark room with no distractions, maybe use a fan or a white noise machine. Ensure you have a good mattress and sheets. Additionally, maintain a clear conscience. You won't sleep well if you have regrets about your actions. Story 6. Sleep apnea diagnosis and continuous positive airway pressure therapy changed my life for the better. A good, comfortable mattress is essential. Engaging in enough physical exercise each day helps me feel physically tired, but not too exhausted when I go to bed. This is important if you do a lot of office work or mental tasks. Reducing screen time and keeping brightness very low for a while before going to bed also contributes to better sleep. It is important to avoid being hungry or too full when going to bed. Story 7. My husband and I are using different duvets. It is a life changer. No more waking up cold due to someone stealing the blanket. Story 8. Blackout curtains. I have never had trouble sleeping, but as soon as the sun comes up, it wakes me up, and I do not like that. Story 9. Magnesium, L-theanine, and Pharmagaba have significantly improved my quality of life. The problem isn't falling asleep, it's staying asleep due to chronic nightmares. Story 10. Regular exercise doesn't have to be strenuous or intense. Just walking for 30 minutes to an hour each day helps calm your mind and tire your body. I used to manage an insurance office and I spent all day sitting at a desk, then got drunk at night. I gained weight and struggled to sleep well. I felt awful all the time. Then I quit and found a job with minimal responsibility, allowing me to leave in the early afternoon. Even in winter, it was still light out when I finished work. I continued drinking, but I reduced the amount. The biggest change, however, was taking my dogs for walks every single day. It started with 15 to 20 minutes, but within 6 months I was taking hour-long walks in the woods daily. I quickly lost weight, started sleeping well, and fell asleep easily. I felt good. After that, I quit drinking for a year. I lost even more weight and kept walking daily, which helped me become well-conditioned. Even when I started drinking again, I didn't return to my previous habits. I reduced my intake from 12 to 18 beers a night to just 2 to 6 beers per week. Now, I've switched jobs again and become a carpenter. I work hard all day, but I still walk my dogs every day for at least 30 minutes, usually closer to an hour. In the last few years, I've also been farming, and I just built a house and started a larger farm this year. I sleep very well now. It's rare for me not to have a full night's rest, and I typically fall asleep within a minute of going to bed. This improvement is entirely due to staying active throughout the day, both mentally and physically. Story 11. A really good pillow can help you fall asleep in seconds. When I go to new places, it takes a while to fall asleep because the pillows are often uncomfortable. I can't recommend a specific pillow, as everyone has different preferences. However, I suggest trying to find one that works for you. Story 12. Continuous positive airway pressure machine. Honestly, it sneaked up on me, but in hindsight, from 2017 to 2020, I don't know if I was ever getting a good night's rest. But how are you supposed to know you're snoring when you're asleep? Then in 2021, I started dating someone who said my snoring was terrible, but I knew for a fact that in college I didn't snore at all. I went to the doctor and everything fell into place. Thank God. Story 13. I have been diagnosed with sleep apnea and have been using a CPAP machine for 18 years, maintaining a compliance rate of 99.9%. If someone tells you that you stop breathing and gasp in your sleep, or if you can't stay awake through a movie at home or while driving, consider getting a sleep study. Story 14. I lost my charger for 2 days and didn't have my phone during that time. I had the best sleep of my life, probably because I didn't look at a screen for 2 days since I didn't open my laptop or the television. Story 15. I learned how to meditate, and it cured my insomnia overnight. Being able to switch off your mind is important. Story 16. Cannabis edibles have been beneficial for me as a shift worker. For over 20 years, I have been switching between 12-hour shifts, alternating between days and nights every 2 weeks. This constant change affects my circadian rhythm, but the edibles help me manage my sleep, allowing me to maintain the schedule until I retire in 7 years. Story 17. Sleeping less may sound ironic, but I used to sleep around 10 hours and still felt tired. Now that I sleep 7 hours, I actually feel more rested by the end of the day and end up sleeping better. I'm not sure why that happens. Story 18. Forcing my husband to undergo a sleep study was necessary. I told him that I was consistently waking up to him not breathing multiple times a night. He proceeded with the study and discovered he had significant oxygen problems. Using a continuous positive airway pressure machine changed everything. I no longer wake up to his snoring or interruptions in his breathing, and he sleeps wonderfully now. The machine is almost silent and very compact. He was a lifesaver. Story 19. Sometimes I use relaxing music to help clear my mind and fall asleep. It allowed me to take an unintentional 4-hour nap in the afternoon. Story 20. A small pillow under my legs really helps with my back pain when I sleep on my side. Another helpful technique is slow, deep breathing. I usually forget when I fall asleep, but it typically happens within 5 to 10 minutes. Story 21. 1. The room temperature should be cooler than your body temperature. Lavender pillow mist can be conducive to sleep, provided that you are comfortable with the scent. Avoid eating too much at night. Otherwise, your stomach may feel uncomfortable when trying to fall asleep. A weighted blanket is beneficial. Earplugs can also help if you are sensitive to noise. I hope my responses are helpful, as they are based on my experience combined with research. Story 22. Going to the gym after work really improves my sleep. Good temperature control in the room is also important. Story 23. Getting a sleep study revealed that I have obstructive sleep apnea. It took a few nights to get used to the CPAP mask and the constant airflow, but it was worth it. Story 24. I set a time to go to bed 45 minutes before sleep and stretch for 15 minutes prior to that. I usually read in soft warm light and then lay my head down as my eyes become heavy, trying not to resist the urge to sleep. The most challenging aspect was changing my thought patterns. Letting go of daydreaming and speculating about past, present, and future events is difficult, but has significant benefits. Focusing on my breathing, my bed, my dog, and some soothing piano music has been effective for me. Stretching helps reduce tension in my body, and I try to read books for personal growth, starting 8 Dates Tonight, to help me center and unwind. I also enjoy using a woodwick candle for its ambient noise and pleasant aroma. Story 25. Consistent exercise, especially when I do cardio and some weight training, is beneficial. Whenever I have had poor sleep, it has always been during times I wasn't exercising. My diet usually improves when I exercise as well. Story 26. Limit blue light after sunset. It helps because it's relaxing and you feel sleepy. I sleep very well when I do that. Story 27. I wake up early and go to bed early. I keep my room cold and take a magnesium supplement every day. I stay off devices for most of the day, or at least an hour before I want to sleep. I also work out and practice yoga every day. I'm focusing on taking care of myself to sleep better and feel better overall. Story 28. For everyone who mentioned continuous positive airway pressure, since my husband got his, we both sleep better. It is a miracle after being married for nearly 40 years. Story 29. getting a sleep study, and then getting a continuous positive airway pressure machine. I literally wake up every day feeling like a Disney princess. It has absolutely changed my life for the better. I had severe sleep apnea. Story 30. Moving away from the city, quitting bartending, drinking more water, and exercising. I am also buying comfortable sleep sets, sticking to satin or silk because I tend to run hot. Using pillowcases and sheets made a world of difference. Finally, I am reading before bed instead of using screens. Story 31. Going from a hot bath to a cool room where I warm up under the covers helps me sleep peacefully. Story 32. Limit caffeine to 1 cup of coffee per day before noon and limit alcohol consumption. Even one beer in the evening can disturb your sleep quality. Story 33. For me, it was 3 things in order of effect. 1. No food after 1800 hours, approximately 5 hours before going to sleep. 2. Consistent bedtime around 2300 hours. 3. Regular exercise which helps me fall asleep and stay asleep. Story 34. 1. Exercise. 2. Limit carbohydrates to whole foods like sweet potatoes, avoiding processed items such as bread, pasta, and sweets. Consume them in significant amounts for only 1 meal in the midday. Dual orexin receptor antagonist. Daridorexant. Story 35. Focusing on relaxing my neck muscles first while in bed trying to sleep helps me doze off quickly. The neck muscles are often the last to relax before we fall asleep, so it makes sense to direct my attention to them first to speed up the process. Story 36. One of the first things my new husband helped me with was to establish a regular bedtime and stick to it, even on weekends. It's been just over 2 years now, and the benefits are real. Story 37. Magnesium, as mentioned, and vitamin D3, typically between 2,000 to 4,000 international units per day, are recommended for someone who works in front of a screen for a living. Story 38. Edibles and magnesium glycinate will definitely help, as well as moving away from my roommates once I can. Story 39. Attention deficit/hyperactivity disorder diagnosis. I thought I had a sleep phase disorder, but it turns out my brain just doesn't produce dopamine naturally. Story 40. Magnesium, melatonin, and promethazine. I use headbands with built-in headphones to listen to relaxing sleep music every night. I have an app on my phone that restricts usage so I can't scroll mindlessly for hours. I have almost completely cut out caffeine due to gastritis and try to avoid excessive sugar before bed because I experience restless legs. Story 41. I took up running. I used to find it difficult to get to sleep, and my sleep was often disrupted. I started running about 2.5 years ago, and now I run over 40 kilometers per week most weeks, reaching 70 to 80 kilometers at the moment. I can finally sleep well. Story 42. My smartwatch helped me identify what aids my sleep. Cold room. 2. Warm showers. 3. Stopping smoking and drinking. 4. Avoiding food at least 3 hours before sleep. 5. Losing weight even if you are fit. Losing 5 kilograms is a game changer. 6. Consult a doctor if you are following these tips and still not sleeping well due to snoring. Some individuals may require surgery to address nasal issues, while others may need continuous positive airway pressure therapy. Story 43. It surprised me, but anti-anxiety medication has made a difference. The side effects make me sleepy, and I go to bed at a decent time. There are no more nightly nightmares. My heart rate has lowered, and I am achieving all my sleep cycle goals. I didn't expect this, and I'm not complaining. Story 44. I mask. I have a lot of trouble falling asleep. I have tried magnesium, melatonin, gummies, and a sound machine. I believe wearing an eye mask helps me relax and fall asleep more easily. Story 45. Kicking all the pets out at night made me realize how often I was waking up. We started having them sleep in the living room. Story 46. I stop using my phone at 8 p.m. and give myself half an hour after waking up before looking at it. I still wake up during the night, but I can usually fall back asleep right away. On nights when I use my phone after 8 p.m., I find myself waking up in the middle of the night for 1 to 2 hours before being able to fall back asleep. Story 47. I started a white noise program on my phone as I turned off the light to go to sleep. I always play the same rainstorm blend. I believe it has helped train my brain to associate that sound with sleep time. Story 48. Magnesium glycinate and melatonin at bedtime help me relax. I try to read a book, but I can only get through a few pages before I fall asleep. Story 49. I have slept poorly throughout my youth. I also experienced constant sinus irritation. In my late 30s, I had my tonsils removed due to an abscess. Since then, I have slept much better. Story 50. Marijuana edibles, followed by vigorous exercise, L-theanine, and magnesium glycinate in that order. Story 51. Going to bed at the same time every night at 10 p.m. has been the biggest improvement to my sleep quality by far. Additionally, waking up at the same time every morning at 5 a.m. has helped tremendously. I now sleep in a different bedroom than my husband, and that has made a significant difference as well. Story 52. I underwent a sleep study, received a diagnosis of severe sleep apnea, and started using a continuous positive airway pressure machine. I cannot sleep without it now. Story 53. Getting up early, having a structured day, going to bed at roughly the same time, and engaging in physical activity during the day. Story 54. It may sound surprising, but I sleep much better with eye masks. They block out all light, allowing me to sleep peacefully. Story 55. I am working on my mental health. I used to stay up for hours every night because I was overwhelmed with anger, stress, shame, and guilt. I started going to therapy and learning helpful coping mechanisms, and I sleep much better now. Story 56. Going to bed earlier has helped significantly. Avoiding food too close to bedtime, not having a large dinner, reducing caffeine after 3 p.m., and limiting alcohol have had the greatest impact on me. Story 57. Going to bed and waking up at a consistent time, regardless of whether I have to work the next day or if I am off. Story 58. Magnesium helps you sleep better by calming your brain, lowering stress, supporting melatonin production, and relaxing your muscles. It helps you fall asleep faster, sleep more deeply, and wake up less during the night. Story 59. I got one of those orthopedic pillows. The extra firm support was like night and day. Story 60. I go there specifically to sleep. I do not have a television in the room, and I do not look at my phone for long when I am lying in bed. My body now sleeps more easily because I subconsciously know that I am there to sleep. Story 61. Getting a bed that is long enough after 3 years of sleeping with my feet and lower legs hanging off the edge. Story 62. Combination of exercise after quitting smoking and reducing alcohol consumption has helped alleviate some issues with sleep apnea. Story 63. Don't wake up before you have to. If you are setting multiple alarms because you keep snoozing through them, any sleep you get after the first alarm goes off is not high-quality sleep. I found I was better off setting one alarm as late as I could comfortably wake up. Going to bed knowing that if I don't wake up when that alarm goes off, I will have to rush in the morning helps. When I hear that alarm, it triggers a reflex, and I get up knowing I need to start my day. I avoid spending time snoozing alarms. Instead, I sleep as long as possible and face the day as rested as I can be. Story 64. Nightshade Bluetooth mask with rain and ocean sounds. Melatonin on my nightstand, and no alcohol during the week. Story 65. I used an automatic positive airway pressure and continuous positive airway pressure machine. It took 6 months to get used to it. Now my body and brain just respond, "Oh, mask on? Best get on with it then." I am usually lucky to read one page of my book before it's time to sleep. The first 6 months were tricky, not gonna lie. At one point, my wife tried to tape the mask to my face so I wouldn't take it off during the night. She has since developed a habit of yelling at the television whenever someone gets their mouth taped shut in a kidnapping scene, saying, "It's not that easy, you morons." Story 66. I have been going to bed at 11 p.m. and waking between 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. every day for over a decade. Ensuring that my circadian rhythm is consistent is key for me. Story 67. Working 2 jobs, including a midnight shift, taught me to fight for my sleep. This evolved into a mental discipline. I maintained the same position with my pillow tucked just under my neck, listening to quiet music and using white noise from a fan. Although I am no longer working two jobs, I still follow this routine. A few years ago, I upgraded to a memory foam mattress, which has improved my back issues significantly. Now, I can fall asleep in minutes. Establishing a routine and habit is essential for training both your mind and body. Story 68. Tracking my sleep revealed that I was going to bed later than I realized. I addressed this issue. The changes have been more beneficial than the continuous positive airway pressure therapy, which I still use every night. Story 69. Stopping drinking. You have no idea how much it impacts your sleep, even when you have only 1 or 2 drinks. Story 70. Starting Zoloft and beginning weightlifting and strength training to utilize the remaining energy I have. Story 71. Exercise in the evening, brush teeth, and wear loose pants or shorts while sleeping. The room is pitch dark, so I need my phone to navigate to the bathroom if I wake up in the middle of the night. I also use the bathroom at night, and going to bed with a lighter feeling is just wonderful. Story 72. Soundcore sleep earbuds are super comfortable and allow me to fall asleep to whatever I want to listen to without disturbing anyone else in the room. Story 73. I bought a house where the main bedroom is painted completely black and has dark shades and curtains, making it pitch dark at night. I could sleep for 24 hours straight. Additionally, I practice yoga regularly. Yoga has genuinely taught me valuable coping skills for the anxiety I experience when trying to sleep, such as being present, focusing on my breath, and being aware of my body's needs. Story 74. A pillow between my legs and under my lower back helps me stay comfortable. I tend to feel hot at night, so I need a cool environment to sleep well. Story 75. Night hood or mask, mouth guard, reading before bed on my Kindle, and trying to put my cell phone in another room, along with a knee pillow. I sleep with my own duvet separate from my partner. We share a king bed, but each have our own blanket. This is called the Scandinavian sleep method, and it's truly life-changing. I also love Lululemon Wonder shorts. They are made from underwear material, but are longer shorts. I wear them to sleep every night with a big t-shirt. Story 76. I had insomnia, so I bought a smartwatch to track my health while I slept. For the most part, my vital signs showed no anomalies. After this, I began to sleep better. It turns out that part of the reason I had insomnia was that I believed I had insomnia. Story 77. Repetitive but true. Eliminating screens and reducing light in general before bed is effective. Typically, about an hour before I want to sleep, I set my alarm and leave my phone in my room, where I won't touch it again until morning. Then, I turn off all the lights except for the lamp by my couch and drink herbal tea while I read and pet my cat. I need to improve my sleep duration, but the quality of sleep I have been getting since I started this routine has been much better. Story 78. Quitting vaping and avoiding caffeine, specifically soda, at least 4 hours before bedtime, along with melatonin. Story 79. Just going to sleep on time makes a difference. The longer I stay up, the harder it becomes to sleep when I'm ready to sleep. Story 80. Clean sheets and showering about an hour before bedtime can enhance sleep quality. I've been staying at my girlfriend's place more often lately. Initially, I didn't sleep well, but as we became more comfortable sleeping next to each other, I noticed that her firmer mattress helps me sleep better. Story 81. A blend of cannabidiol and tetrahydrocannabinol, preferably in gummy or pre-roll form, is effective. I haven't been an active user since my 20s and have been dealing with insomnia related to my attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Nothing helps like my 20:1 gummies. The Harlequin strain, which is high in cannabidiol, that I smoked last night absolutely knocked me out for 8 hours straight. If you're in a legal state in the United States and are having trouble sleeping, I highly recommend it. My quality of life has improved greatly. It also makes me feel cozy and mentally uplifted. Story 82. Exercise is essential. Regular and vigorous activities such as bouldering, sprinting, and heavy deadlifting are beneficial. Sexual activity also contributes positively. I transitioned from being an insomniac to sleeping soundly. Additionally, I avoid caffeine after noon. Story 83. I know it may sound repetitive when people advise you to read before going to bed, but reading before sleep genuinely makes a significant difference. Story 84. Getting a new mattress has made a significant difference. I didn't expect that moving from my 8-year-old foam mattress to a new one would improve my sleep, but I now consistently get over 8 hours. I fall asleep much faster and wake up less often in the middle of the night. I regret not getting a new mattress sooner. I chose a Nectar. Story 85. A memory foam bed by Puffy and a thick memory foam pillow that cradles my head have made a huge improvement for my side sleeping. Story 86. Getting blackout curtains, keeping the room at a cooler temperature, ensuring no lights from electronics are blinking or flashing, sometimes playing sleep music at 528 Hz on low, and practicing meditative deep breathing right before bed. Story 87. I got a new mattress. Before this, I slept on a used mattress from a relative. I finally got tired of it when it started to poke and prod me with the metal underneath. I got a new one, and it sleeps wonderfully. It's so soft, like a hotel mattress. Story 88. Getting a dog has changed my life. Before getting a dog, I would wake up with deep gashes on my face from clawing myself during nightmares. I no longer have this issue when I sleep with my dog. Story 89. I quit drinking alcohol. It was hard to fall asleep at first, but then it became easy. I can fall asleep on the couch and then go to bed an hour later, sleeping all night and waking up refreshed. Story 90. I work out all my excess energy, and I go from being restless to restful. Takes an hour to calm down to sleep, but I feel a difference compared to not working out. Also, a high-quality mattress topper helped my parents a good bit. Story 91. Getting sinus surgery. I had not realized that this was one of the biggest reasons I was waking up frequently in the middle of the night. I always woke up feeling stuffy, but I was walking around stuffy all the time, so it wasn't a deviation from my usual experience. I have terrible allergies on top of structural malformations. I had many issues in there. I was often dismissed for years, a typical experience for female patients, and can't believe so many people told me that sinus surgery was probably not going to make a difference. It's one of the most life-changing things I've ever done. My experience of just breathing was incredibly frustrating, with no relief. I should have done this a decade ago. They essentially took it down to the studs. And there's so much more room for air now. I can feel air moving in parts one didn't know existed. If you have severe allergies and are thinking about sinus surgery, do it. It was not painful, it has a short recovery period, and it really isn't that bad. It's more of an annoyance that you have to keep irrigating your sinuses for the first week. Wearing a gauze mustache is strange at first, but you get used to it for just a week. I mostly sleep through the night now, and I don't snore as often. I only wake up if I have to use the restroom. Story 92. Follow a routine. Everything from the time you stop drinking liquids to your room temperature to the clothes you sleep in to getting enough exercise during the day and to going to bed and waking up at regular times. Take a scientific approach. Find something that helps you sleep. Watching documentaries with a good narrator works for me, such as American Experience, narrated by David McCullough. Podcasts, white noise, or earplugs might work for you. Story 93. I told my brain, no more lucid dreams tonight. Okay, brain? We want a good sleep tonight. Because lucid dreams, no matter how nice, kept waking me up. So sadly, I am attempting to give them up. I went 2 whole nights with 0 lucid dreams, and I slept the whole night both times. I didn't feel tired at all during the day. Story 94. I quit drinking, and it made a remarkable difference in my sleep quality. I'm not referring to being completely blackout drunk. Even 1 or 2 beers resulted in poor sleep. This, along with my memory foam mattress topper, has been totally worth the investment. Story 95. Blackout blinds, like an actual heavy-duty one that covers the entire window and its surroundings, are bliss, especially now that early mornings are here. Story 96. I stopped drinking as much alcohol. It helps me fall asleep but completely disrupts any semblance of a healthy sleep pattern. The first night without 5 shots in my system was some of the best sleep I had in a while. Story 97. some castor oil rubbed into my belly button, a 5 milligram melatonin, and sleepy time tea if I think I will have a really hard time falling asleep. Story 98. Getting a CPAP was a turning point for me. My snoring was always terrible, just like my father's. I frequently woke up at night, sometimes to use the bathroom or gasping for breath with my heart racing. I had little energy during the day and often found myself dozing off. It was impacting every aspect of my life. Eventually, I asked my doctor to schedule a sleep study. I received the CPAP about a month later. 3 weeks into using it, I was sleeping soundly, barely snoring, and not waking up until morning. I was so quiet at night that my wife would worry I was unwell. It's been well over a year now, and I'm still sleeping well and feeling energized during the day. I would highly recommend it. Story 99. Giving up alcohol improved my sleep apnea, reducing it from severe to mild. I was not a heavy drinker. I typically consumed a six-pack on Fridays. Story 100. Honestly, my cat is a fluffy ragdoll that purrs all the time. I love her, and I feel less scared to sleep when I feel her next to me. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.